Welcome to the performance event, Just One More Please. It's so good to see many familiar faces and some new ones. And thank you for choosing to spend time with us tonight focusing on a topic that should concern us all. As the People's Zoom Readers Theater is a diverse group committed to combating prejudice and injustice, we are extremely concerned about the way immigrants are being treated today in the United States. Thus, we chose for our fall performance a personal story that demonstrates the complicated nature of immigration in America. And during our follow-up discussion, we hope you will share your stories and respond to any of the questions you can see in the chat.
We are a nation of immigrants. At least this is what I learned when I was growing up. The Statue of Liberty, a cherished symbol, epitomizes this idea of America and has been inspiring countless numbers of people to do everything in their power to come here. They come for safety, sanctuary, a decent living. They come for a future far better than they could ever imagine in their native country. Nobody can deny the fact that there just isn't enough room for everybody. So the $1,000,000 question is, what policy can we create that represents American values and at the same time protects the lives, health, employment, and safety of our current population? What is our current immigration policy? Do we even know? Who creates it? And what are the factors that determine eligibility? These are some of the questions we look forward to discussing in our follow-up. We hope you join us. One thing I know for sure is this: everybody who comes here has a story. Tonight you'll hear my story. Well, not my story. It's Mario's story and all of us who came to care about him and participated in his American journey. It all started in 1970 in Flushing, Queens, New York. I was a high school teacher, a pioneer in the teaching of English as a second language in public schools. From the beginning, it became apparent to me that there's something unique about being an ESL teacher. Teaching English was just one of our responsibilities. Our curriculum covered American culture, traditions, government, and history. And when we shared our history, it meant admitting to our students that there had been times and practices that we deeply regretted, especially slavery. As teachers, we considered ourselves representatives of our country. We felt it was incumbent on us to expose our students to the best of American behavior, institutions, and values. And it was our fervent hope that our students remaining in the United States after graduation were prepared to integrate as respectable, functioning, and possibly inspirational members of our society. Some returned to their native countries. We hoped they would take with them a positive message of America. I was delighted that in my first year of teaching international students, they came from a variety of countries: Colombia, Persia, Iran, China, Thailand, Nicaragua, Korea, Cuba, Egypt, and Israel. So many opportunities to make a difference, I thought. What I lacked in experience, I tried to compensate with a variety of student-centered activities and an abundance of compassion. Because I was not much older than my students, It was relatively easy to interact with them and react caringly to their daily stories and life events. The first year in particular was special. We all seemed to bond, become a kind of family. I knew who was dating whom and so much more. All my students had my telephone number in case anybody needed anything, which was never used until one night when Mario called and asked to speak to me after school at the Flushing Meadows Park. I was kind of shocked and a little worried. What could be so serious that it couldn't be discussed on the phone or after school in my office? What was it that took the smile from his voice? Mario was special. He helped organize a wonderful surprise birthday party for me, which meant a great deal since I was separated from my husband and was not expecting to even celebrate my birthday. Mario also came to my defense when some of the students exhibited anti Semitic behavior. When I first met Mario, he barely spoke English and he could not read or write fluently in his native language. He had youth on his side, which made it easier for him to learn to speak the language. But long days spent in classrooms were a challenge for him. His strength was in socializing and making people feel good. Even with his limited vocabulary, he would often say something that made you smile. But I had a feeling I wasn't going to smile when I heard what was on his mind. My God, what happened to you?
Oh, it's nothing.
What do you mean? What happened to your arm? Did you hurt yourself in a soccer game?
No way.
You didn't get into a fight, did you?
Well, you might say that.
With whom?
It's a long story. But hey, how are you? Are you okay?
I was fine until you showed up looking like this. So please tell me what happened.
Uh, don't know how to start. It's embarrassing. I'm ashamed.
Why? Why are you ashamed?
What what I want to tell you, Miss Heller, I really don't want to bother you, but I don't want to talk about this to anybody else. I trust you. I think that maybe you can give me some advice.
Thank you, Mario. I'm glad you trust me, but I can't help you if you don't tell me what it is.
I didn't even tell Miriam or Diego about this. It's so stupid, so dumb. I don't know. I can't even talk about it.
Well, I'm here. I don't know if I can help you, but I'm happy to listen and try.
Yeah, but you might think terrible things about me when I tell you.
I've known you for over a year. You've been nothing but respectful, helpful, and not just with me. I see how you behave with your friends. You are a good person. So if there's something that isn't right, I trust it's not your fault.
Thank you. You're right. It's not my fault. It's my uncle.
Your uncle? The man you live with?
Right. Without him, I can't stay here in America. He's my guardian.
Yeah, I know that. So what's the problem?
He doesn't like me to do what I want.
What do you mean?
Well, he don't like when I go out with my friends, especially Miriam. He don't even like when me and the others go bowling on Fridays.
Why not? Doesn't he want you to have any friends here?
He's jealous of my friends. You see, there's something wrong with him. He wants me to do things to him that are not right, like sleep in his bed. Sometimes he even come in the bedroom when I'm taking a shower and he wants to do things to me. God, I feel crazy telling you this. You got to know I don't want to do these things. I get sick in my stomach every time he come near me. He says he love me because I'm his nephew, but that's not it. He's he's not right. And I never knew this before.
Oh, Mario, I am so sorry. I don't know what to say. I certainly understand why you're upset.
Yeah. Um, it's funny. I think he is just a happy bachelor, thinking, having a good time up here. I guess my parents did too. Now I see he almost never go out. He want me to stay home too. I don't know what to do.
Have you tried to explain that you care about him like an uncle and that's all?
Many, many times. Every time he come near me, but he tell me it's okay. But that's not true. Maybe some people can, but I can't. And I'm afraid that if I don't let him do what he wants, he'll send me back to Colombia.
Has he threatened you?
Yes. When I push him away and called him a sick man, he grabbed me and pushed me into the wall.
That's when you hurt your arm.
Yeah, he pushed me till it broke. The doctor said it's not so bad, but I told him I broke it in two places so he won't bother me for a while.
You say he threatened you. What did he say?
When I was lying on the floor, he'd look at me like a crazy man and say, if I don't do what he wants, he'll tell my parents I'm no good, that I caused trouble for him, and he'll send me back.
This is really awful. I just don't know what to say.
I don't want to go back to Colombia. My parents will think I did something wrong.
You think they would believe him?
My father, whenever something go wrong at home, he says it's my fault. But it's not just that. There's nothing for me in Colombia. My family is poor. I can't go to school there. There's nothing for me. Just farming. My uncle destroyed my father's dreams, and now he wants to destroy mine.
What do you mean? How did your uncle destroy your father's dreams?
It's a long story. I don't know everything, but I know because my uncle came to America, my father couldn't do what he wanted. Anyway, I'm not going back, even if I have to run away.
Oh, Mario, this is a horrible situation. It's not fair. It's not your fault, and I know you can't do what he says. But if you run away, where will you go? How will you live? And if he calls the police, then what? I don't think that's a solution.
Then what is?
I I honestly don't know. Your uncle is a sick man. What he is trying to do to you is terribly wrong. I want to help, but I don't know what I can do. If I were to speak to your uncle,
No, no, you can't do that.
I know I can't. He would only resent you more.
I'm sorry, I'm giving you a problem.
It's okay. I'm glad you felt you could talk to me. You needed to speak to somebody. Look, we need time to think. And with your arm broken, you do have an excuse to keep him away.
But for how long?
Just keep telling him how much pain you have, and maybe he'll feel so guilty that he'll leave you alone for a while. Do you think your parents can help you?
I'm afraid to tell them. I don't think it will help.
Well, don't call your friends when he's around. Look very busy with homework, particularly late at night. I know this isn't the answer, but I promise I'll keep thinking.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. You are always so good to all of us.
Please call me if anything else comes up. After my conversation with Mario, I could barely sleep that night. I was in shock and I didn't feel confident to meet his needs. His situation was untenable, unfair. Under normal circumstances, it would be my responsibility to report this kind of behavior to Childline, the Child Protected Service for abuse or neglected children. But I knew if his uncle, Mr. Montoya, were investigated, Mario would surely pay a heavy price. So, what could I do?
You are good to me. I know that, and I care about you, but not that way. You are my uncle.
Mario, give me a chance. I won't hurt you.
No, don't you see? This stuff make me sick.
Don't say that. You know I can make life very difficult for you. If you want to stay in America, you better think about what I want.
You can't send me back. What will my parents say?
Nothing. Your father can't say or do anything. I took you to live with me as a favor. Your father can't afford to keep you here without my help. And I'll tell him you are irresponsible and too difficult to handle. And he'll believe me. He'll think you're no good. And I can promise you this, Mario. If you go back to Colombia, you'll be a failure, just like your father.
Don't talk about my father like that. And don't threaten me. If I have to live in a friend's house, I will. I'll do anything to get away from you. You can't make me sleep with you, and I won't let you send me back.
You're pushing me and forcing me to do things we both will regret.
Take your hand off me. You're hurting my arm.
You better remember what I said.
I wonder what the doctor will say when I tell him how my arm got hurt again.
Now you are threatening me. You will not talk about me to anyone. Anyway, nobody will believe you. I have a good reputation. I'm a citizen here. Mario, what are you doing?
What does it look like? I'm getting out of here so I can be with good people.
No, no, this is not necessary. You don't have to leave. I won't bother you. And I don't want you bothering other people. No, you must stay here.
I'm sick and tired of you coming on to me and trying to force me to do things that I don't want to do. And I'm tired of your threats. I'm leaving now.
Don't go. Don't go. I'm your guardian. You have to do what I say. You'll be sorry, Mario. I can promise you that.
I'm Diego, a good friend of Mario's. I was surprised when Mario asked to come stay over. But when he told me what was going on, I asked my parents if he could stay for a few days. They didn't know much about Mario's uncle, only that he wasn't an easy man. So when Mario said that things weren't going well, they opened our home. I don't know how his uncle got my number, but he did. And he had the nerve to call me and tell me a bunch of lies. He and Mario had a fight, but everything is okay. He forgives him, but he must return because he is Mario's guardian. He even has a letter from his mother. What could I do? I heard that his uncle called our teacher and told her Mario left because he might have been too hard on Mario and given him too many chores. Another bunch of lies. He asked me to go with him when he returned to his uncle's apartment a few days later. I couldn't say no. His uncle, clearly an actor, was such a phony. He told me how lucky Mario is to have a friend like me and wished me well before he walked me to the door. I was really afraid to leave Mario alone with him, but I didn't see that I had a choice.
It's hard to believe things like this happen, especially to somebody you know, a friend you care about. It did. I'm Yoon-hyuk, Mario's classmate and friend. A week after Mario returned home, he didn't show up at school. Nobody knew where he was. He seemed to just disappear. We all felt terrible. Nobody could concentrate, not even our teacher, Mrs. Heller. After 2 days, we talked after class and decided we would be detectives and look for Mario. Each one of us had a place to visit and asked a lot of questions. Diego and I spoke to Mario's boss at the supermarket where he was working part-time. He knew nothing and wondered why Mario didn't show up. He said he was worried too, because Mario was usually very responsible. We even found the courage to ring his uncle's doorbell, and guess what he told us? Mario was visiting a relative in Washington, D.C. But no, we wouldn't have the name, phone number, or address of the relative that Mario was supposed to be visiting. He must have thought we were all stupid. Nobody believed that lie. 3 weeks, for 3 weeks, we were all on edge. No answers, nothing. Even the police couldn't tell us what happened to Mario. Finally, we got the news. Miriam, Mario's girlfriend, got a letter and called us all together after class and told us exactly what happened.
I was really crazed when Mario disappeared. I don't know if it was real love, but I certainly cared about him very much, and so did my parents. And when he disappeared, we all felt terrible. I'm so glad that he had my address. I remember giving it to him the first time he came to my home for dinner. What he told me in the letter, well, it was like a terrible movie, the kind I never like to watch. I think I cried from the beginning of the letter till the end. He said it all started during the middle of Sunday night when two men woke Mario up and told him that he was being deported to Colombia because of his abusive conduct and use of drugs. When Mario told them that none of it was true and begged them to call his English teacher to prove he wasn't lying, they refused and insisted he get dressed immediately. They took his passport, ripped out the page that indicated his immigration status. They also handcuffed him. They took him out of the apartment and drove him to the airport. They turned down Mario's request to call his uncle, Miss Heller, me, or Diego. When he and others who were being deported were about to board the plane, their handcuffs were taken off. What a nightmare. And it got even worse when he got to Colombia, where he was treated like a criminal. His papers were destroyed. He had to stay in a Colombian prison for 2 days until the officials were convinced that he was not involved in drugs and had no criminal record in the US. Nobody offered to help him get home. He had to hitch his way for 2 days from Bogota to a small farming town where his family lived. His family's greetings were mixed. His father was so cold. His mother just cried. And his brothers, well, they hugged him. When he told his parents what happened and why his uncle had him deported, his father refused to believe him and told him that it didn't matter anyway because this is where he was meant to be. It's not right that people are treated this way. We couldn't believe that this could happen to one of us.
It was very hard to hear what happened. It seems so unreal, right out of a crime movie. I know it was very difficult for Miriam to translate everything into English so that Yun Hyuk and I could understand. I know she really cared about him. We all were sick over what happened. When I could finally think clearly, my fury was focused on Mario's uncle. And by the end of the day, I was determined that this couldn't be the end of Mario's education in the United States. I don't know where I had the courage to believe that I could help change the narrative, but I did. And I made it clear that I wanted to do something when I shared the latest about Mario with my colleague, Jackie Soros. I'm sure you are just as upset as I am about what happened to Mario. That uncle of his is a sick man. To do such a thing. I'm so proud of his friends and the way they care so much.
Yes, I am too. We have very special students.
Am I crazy? But I want to show Mario's uncle and Uncle Sam that you just can't treat people this way, not in America. What if we bring him back? And I know this sounds crazy, but I could be Mario's guardian. This way he can graduate high school in America.
Really? Is this what you are thinking?
I know it's a bit much. Wild, but is it so ridiculous?
I don't really know. It certainly sounds very generous. I understand your indignation and determination, but is this practical? Where is he going to stay? Who's going to take care of him? Pay his bills? I know you want to help him, and frankly speaking, I would like to help too. But we have to be realistic. This is not just for a week vacation.
I know. Well, what if we can get some answers to your questions? What do you think?
Many people call me a softie. Well, I am. I enjoy teaching high school students. So often they come back after their first year of college to tell me my class really prepared them. That makes me feel great. Yes, like Eden, we take our students' lives very much to heart. So when Eden filled me in on all the details of Mario's tragic situation, I was genuinely disturbed and determined to help any way I could. As a gay woman, I was particularly disgusted with Mario's uncle and his behavior. His behavior is not the acts of a gay person. They are the acts of a depraved man. It would have given me great pleasure sending his uncle to a doctor with a broken arm. But since I wasn't prepared to go to jail, I would have to help Mario in a more constructive way. Later, when Eden told me that Miriam and her family were happy to help, and Miriam's aunt had a room that she would rent for a small monthly fee, and Mario's boss at the supermarket would take him back, I could see this all coming together. Eden would be his guardian. I would help with the paperwork, and we would split the plane ticket.
Sometimes dreams do come true. We all wanted Mario to come back, and it happened. Christmas, a perfect time. Special reason to celebrate. Mario returned to the United States. Yes, Miss Heller and Miss Soros were superheroes. They made it happen. And with my aunt helping and Mario's boss, well, it seemed we had a working solution. My parents were very helpful too. We are a community. We help each other, and we all celebrated Mario's return to school. It was a wonderful reunion. Everybody was helping out, and things couldn't be better. And for the rest of the year, things were really good. But the next year, as we were getting closer to graduation, I realized that Mario was expecting something from me that I wasn't prepared to give the rest of my life. I still cared deeply about him, but I wasn't ready at 17 to settle down. And I wanted to go to college, and I didn't think that was in Mario's future. But how can you hurt somebody who cares so much and needs so much? I loved him, but not enough to spend the rest of my life with him. Telling Mario how I felt was one of the most difficult things I ever had to do. I can still remember the look on his face. And I also remember how kind he was to me. He didn't make a fuss. He didn't get angry. He eventually smiled and told me how grateful he was for all I did for him, and how he would always love me and hoped we could be friends.
Having Mario back, well, it was euphoric. We all felt we were doing something meaningful. We saved a life, and we showed the bad guys that in the end, good guys can win. For several months, things seemed back to normal. As his guardian, I trusted Mario would never cause trouble. I knew he would be very careful. We could all concentrate on other things. Thank goodness. A lot of things were happening in my personal life. My divorce had gone through, and I had met somebody else who was becoming important to me. So I was particularly grateful that Mario was doing nicely. The only thing that bothered me was his breakup with Miriam. That hit me hard, almost as hard as it hit Mario. I guess I naively thought that they would end up together. Clearly, that wasn't going to happen. It didn't occur to me that what I desired as a future solution for Mario was no longer viable.
I'm Carlos, another good friend of Mario's, and I can tell you that Mario did his best to stay away from any place where his crazy uncle might show up. But listen to this. We were at a diner, and guess who showed up? He even stopped by our table and started to speak to Mario. That man actually smiled at us. What nerve! I can't remember exactly what he said, but it didn't matter. I think I had been hoping for one day to have a chance to tell this guy what we all really thought of him. I don't know where I got the courage. Perhaps it's my height and my membership on the wrestling team. So, before Mario or anybody else could say anything, I stood up and said, "Mr. Montoya, you are not welcome here. And if I hear any more threats of any kind, I will share that I know with the Colombian community. So I suggest you keep this in mind the next time you want to deport anybody." Wow, I shocked myself. It took about 60 seconds before anybody spoke after he walked away. I think I heard a lot of thank yous. I guess this cemented my membership in the Mario fan club.
I was a very lucky guy to have so many good friends, real friends. It was probably the main reason for feeling so bad when I was forced to leave. I felt as though a part of my body was torn off. I never had friends like that at home. And if I'm to be totally honest, I believe that my relationship with Miriam went beyond friends. I thought maybe we had a real future, but I can't blame her. I probably was too young for her. She was very smart. It was clear that she had a lot more education in her future, and I did not. Maybe it's because I started school really late in life. I don't know. But college wasn't right for me. I just wanted to be a car mechanic. But was that possible here in the United States? When my senior year began, I realized time was not my friend. I knew Miss Heller, Eden, as she asked me to call her, would no longer be my guardian. Sure, I could go to trade school, but who was going to pay for that? I couldn't ask her to do that. When I talked to Eden about the future, she suggested we consult an immigration lawyer.
We consulted a lawyer in October, and a few months later, a Spanish speaking lawyer recommended by Diego's family. The answers, unfortunately, were the same in both languages. Mario either needed to marry an American or attend college or a technical school or return to Colombia. As usual, when I had a question about Mario, I consulted Jackie. Jackie, what can we do?
Eden, I know this is very hard for you. You've been helping Mario in different ways for more than 2 years. When he graduates, you have a life too. I know how hard your divorce was, And I know that you have another shot at personal happiness with Paul, who, from what I've witnessed, would like very much for you to marry him and move to Philadelphia and one day have a family of your own. True?
Yes, that's all true. But Paul doesn't object to what I've been doing for Mario.
I'm sure he doesn't. He seems like a good guy, but I'm assuming he expects your guardianship to end in June, and that means your responsibility for Mario's welfare.
Yes, but
I don't see a but. Surely you aren't prepared to pay for Mario's technical school and watch over him. And then what? How many years until he is legal in America?
you do know that Mario has been working at Earl's auto repair shop.
Yes, of course, but he can't be making enough money to pay for a technical school. And once he graduates, he will be here working illegally. Then what?
Thank you for meeting me. I know you're worried about my future, and I thank you for that and for all that you've done for me. But now I have to do something for myself.
What does that mean?
I'm going down to the Bureau of Immigration and see if I can get an extension.
Okay, that's a good idea. But what if you can't?
Then I'll have to deal with that.
Can I and Ms. Soros at least go with you? Perhaps if I say something good about you, they'll give you more time.
Sure, but I don't want you to get upset if it doesn't work out.
Who? Me get upset? Ah, don't be silly. You know I'm never emotional.
Yeah, right.
At the end of May, Eden and I were with Mario when he spoke to the judge at the Bureau of Immigration. After Mario responded to routine questions, Eden explained her role in Mario's life and asked that he be given an extension. And as one might predict, the judge asked,
Why should Mario get an extension?
So that he may live in America.
Everybody wants to live in America.
But you see, there is nothing for him in Colombia. His family is very poor, and there are no opportunities for him there. And he's been here for almost 3 years, and he's learned English, and this has become his home.
Everything you say is fine, but he is not a citizen here. He's not a resident, and soon, I'm guessing, he won't even be a student. Who is going to take care of him? He's not supposed to work here. You must know that.
Yes. Well, I can help him.
Are you telling me that you will assume complete responsibility for Mario? That is, take care of all his financial expenses until such time that he gets a green card?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, Mario?
I can't accept that kind of help from Miss Heller. She has been too generous already, and I won't ask her to do any more.
That's very noble of you, Mario. And I'm sure you are a very decent person. But I can't let every nice person who passes through these doors stay in America.
But Your Honor, you just can't send him to Colombia. It was such an ordeal to bring him back. And he has so many people who care about him here. We've come too far to end up like this. Please, please, I implore you. Can you make him an exception? Please? It's just one more person in this country.
I'm really sorry. I understand how deeply you feel, but well, the best I can do is give Mario a 2-month extension. Mario, you can stay until August, and if nothing consequential happens to alter your status, you are expected to return voluntarily to your country, Colombia, or you will be regarded as an illegal alien and picked up.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Mario. I'm sorry for you too, Eden. I know this is not what any of us wanted to hear.
Congratulations, Miriam.
Congratulations yourself.
This is quite a day for all of us. My parents are over there crying. They can't believe it's all happening the way they dreamed it would be. Gosh, they've spent their lives working day and night in their restaurant so that my sister and I could go to school in America. And now it's on to college for me. I can't believe it.
Yes, we are very lucky. I can't imagine how Mario feels. What is next for him? I wish I could help, but I can't. I have my own dreams too, and I'm so lucky that my parents can help me.
Hey, let's go over to Mario's. He's with Mrs. Heller and Jackie. He should be proud too. There were times I wasn't sure he was going to graduate. That job of his took up more and more, well, he did it. I think we need to tell Mario that whatever happens, we will always be his friends. It's also a good time to thank Mrs. Heller. There are no words to express my appreciation for all she's done for each and every one of us, especially Mario.
I hope she likes the gift we have for her and our card. It wasn't easy getting everybody's signature clear enough to read it. Too many tears.
Graduation. There was never a graduation to equal this one. The bond these students created, each devoting time to help Mario. And each one was just the kind of student every teacher should be blessed with. There was no limit to their appreciation. Did they leave ready for their next stage of life in America? I hope so. I know I did my best to prepare them for whatever was ahead. I wasn't sure I was prepared for the next stage of my life, a life with a new husband in a new state. It took me another 2 years to decide to leave New York, my family, my job, my students, and Mario, who was continuing to work for Earl after graduation. I finally came to understand it was time for me to focus on my personal life. And I knew that couldn't include Mario.
I'm Paul. I knew that I was taking Eden away from a job she thoroughly enjoyed and where she was fully appreciated. Yeah, I felt bad about it, but it didn't make any sense for us to fund Mario's extended education because after that, what was next? It seemed never ending. My job and my life are in Philadelphia. If Eden wanted a life with me, she had to leave New York. I was asking an awful lot of her, but she finally came to realize that as much as she loved her students, they couldn't be her whole life. Yes, they needed her. They appreciated her. But when it was time to graduate, it was time to move on with their lives. And that's exactly what they did. I offered to be her husband who would love her as an equal life partner. And then, if we were lucky, to have our own children to love and guide through the stages of life. No, eventually she couldn't say no to that. And I'm so grateful. I was persistent. 2 years of a New York-Philadelphia romance. It was exciting, but it was time to settle down. I know, of course, the hardest person to leave was Mario and his devoted friends. I'll always give him a great deal of credit. He told Eden his future was now in his hands and that things were good at his job and that he met a wonderful girl whom he was spending a lot of time with. To make it even easier for Eden, he said that he believed his time would be lucky in love. Mario actually told Eden not to contact him because now that he was here illegally, he could get her into trouble. He certainly didn't want to do that. Still so young, so brave and unselfish. That really sold me on him. Eden was speechless. What could she say? This was his life. She understood his decision, but it was a painful separation. She admitted that she would never stop worrying about getting a call or a letter that told her that his dream was over.
Mario could sell ice in Alaska. When he smiled at me and asked me out after fixing my car at Earl's auto repair shop, I couldn't say no. I knew my parents weren't going to bless any kind of relationship with him since he wasn't Chinese. They had my life all planned out. And I wasn't resisting too much until I met Mario. He was so cute, and he seemed really kind, very respectful, genuine. It's hard to explain, but he just seemed different from a lot of guys who were trying to impress a girl. It wasn't hard to fall in love with him. He didn't have much money, but he knew how to surprise me with a compliment, a romantic note, a donut, a surprise visit at my work at the dress shop. Oh, it was intoxicating. Yes, intoxicating. That's how it felt to be loved. And that is how Mario made me feel.
I didn't expect to meet somebody so special. I didn't think I could care about another girl the way I did about Miriam. But Su Ning is amazing. We don't have the same language, the same background, yet something just clicked. The only problem for me is this terrible feeling that people might think I was using her. I would hate that because it would be so wrong for anybody to pretend to love somebody if they didn't really feel it. No, I could never do that. And I didn't want anybody to think that Su Ning is being used. This worried me.
Su Ning, I can see it in your eyes. You are falling in love with Mario.
Is it such a bad thing? I know he isn't Chinese, but he is special. I really like being with him. He's good for me.
Yes, Su Ning, I understand. I know what it's like to be in love and to be loved. I have been very lucky with your dad, but there is something else that you need to think about. I hate to bring it up, but as your mother, I feel it's my responsibility to point out. Is it possible that Mario is using you? That if you marry, his status in the United States improves significantly? He knows you will soon become a citizen.
So you really think this? That he is using me?
I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that it could be true, and I don't want you to get hurt.
How do you know about his status?
I wasn't purposely eavesdropping. I just happened to hear you talking to him about his precarious situation and the man at work that could ruin him.
You do have very good hearing. Too good. Yes, there is this man who is jealous of Mario. Their boss really likes Mario because he takes his job very seriously. I saw it when I brought my car there. He and cars. There's a magical connection. It's not just a job. So sure, his boss likes him and this guy Billy could make trouble.
Then what?
I don't know. Mario is trying to be nice to Billy, hoping that he won't do anything to hurt him.
I hope it works. I hope he cares about you as much as you say you love him. I don't want to see you get hurt.
My mom had a right to wonder if Mario is using me, but I had no doubts. In fact, I even offered to marry him when he told me about Billy. But he said no. He said that we don't know each other well enough, and people would think he was marrying me for the wrong reason. He thought maybe we should live together to see if we are really meant to be. After all, we come from different backgrounds. Maybe our differences will get in the way. While I understood his thinking, I was certain my parents would never go along with that. I knew everybody was doing it, but it wasn't right for me. I did wonder from time to time if I was wrong about Mario. Maybe he wasn't as honorable as I wanted him to be. But he told me his story. He told me about Eden and his friends. I didn't think they would have helped him if he was just using them. I couldn't help myself. I loved him, and I hoped he wouldn't break my heart.
I have to admit, Mario won me over. I really liked the way he treated Suning. And I was impressed when his former teacher, Eden, clearly pregnant, came with her husband to a dinner we had for Suning and Mario. The fact that they took time away from their visit with Eden's parents in New York to join us for dinner spoke so much to me and my husband about Mario. In fact, a few days later, we decided that 6 months after Suning received her citizenship papers, we would start planning a wedding reception, and Eden and Paul and all of Mario's friends from school would be invited.
Billy, you're wrong. I didn't steal any of your tools. Why are you saying this? You know I wouldn't do that.
No, nothing. I just know that your kind doesn't belong here.
Calm down. Don't say things like that. We can all work together, and Mario does a good job.
You think he's better than I am? He'll be sorry you ever hired him. I can promise you that.
Mario, I'm very sorry Billy is acting this way. Sometimes people get so unhappy with their lives, all they want to do is hurt other people. Don't let him get to you, man. You're a very good worker. In fact, I'm planning to give you a raise.
Thank you, Earl. I really appreciate that.
Just be careful, Mario. Do what you can to stay out of Billy's way.
Sure thing.
I guess I wasn't thinking straight. I kind of blame myself. Billy didn't know about the raise, but he knew I liked Mario, and why shouldn't I? He was a very responsible worker. He knew cars the way I did when I was his age. He was honest, respectable. How could I not like him? Well, now I don't have him. It turned out that Billy's anger was beyond bursting, and he did what we call ratting. Yes, he snitched to immigration that Mario was probably here illegal. A good guess. And so it all came down on Mario again.
Yes, I snitched to immigration, and why not? Why do we need people like Mario here taking our jobs? Who do these people think they are? Let them stay where they were born.
Why was I so shocked? What did I expect knowing Mario was here illegally? I felt terrible. It just didn't seem right. He had a good job. He wasn't getting into trouble. Why couldn't they just leave him alone? This time the culprit was a jealous coworker. When Mario called me from the airport, I knew the curtain was coming down. The ending of the movie was not a happy one. He told me not to worry because Su Ning was with him and she would help him when she could. I was pretty devastated. But really, what could I say or do? I was holding my 2-month-old baby. All I could do now was hope that Mario wouldn't be treated badly again by his country or his father. Maybe Su Ning could be his guardian angel this time.
I want to hug you, but I can't with these handcuffs. I don't know what to say. Thank you for coming here. Maybe this is how it should end. Maybe I'm just not good enough for you. I can't seem to stay out of trouble.
No, Mario. You didn't cause trouble. You were just trying to make a good life for yourself. You were trying to do it with me.
I love you, Su Ning. Too much to have you marry me out of pity. I'll understand if you change your mind.
Never, Mario. I'll never change my mind.
It was so good to see my son again after several years. But as much as I wanted to see Mario, I wanted him to stay in America and have a better life. Now that he was home again, I was very worried about him. He was really depressed. I hope this letter from Eden would help him. My husband was wrong to beat him down with his criticism, his negative thinking. It never made sense that he wouldn't want his son to have a better life. Mario had seen another world, another way to live. He needed another chance to make his dream come true. It disgusted me what that man in the United States was doing to my son. Since the first time Mario returned home, his uncle's name was not allowed to be mentioned in my home. I knew my son was a good boy, and it hurt so much to see that every time he came close to achieving his dream, it was snatched away. I tried to convince him that God wasn't punishing him and that he was good enough. If Su Ning says she loved him, he should believe her and not push her away. Perhaps Eden's letter would lift him up and encourage him to write to Su Ning. I wanted him to believe in their love for each other. Mario, I see you're busy. Mario, please stop what you're doing. I have something important here for you.
I see you waving a letter at me. Is it from Su Ning?
Actually, it's from Eden, but I'm sure she has something helpful to say. Here, read it.
Well, Eden still believes in me. She told me I shouldn't give up. Sounds like you. She says because I'm not an American citizen, it doesn't make me any less of a man or less worthy of Su Ning's love. She says that Su Ning needs me as much as I need her. I hope she's right. She says I need to write more to Su Ning and show her that I still love her enough for her to make the effort to be with me.
This is good news, right? So, Mario, can I see that smile of yours? Can I see that look that you used to charm me, even the people who didn't want you to succeed? Forget today's chores. I'll have Alfredo do a little more. You get your pen and paper and write down and put down what's in your heart. My heart tells me that one day you and Su Ning.
Well, that day came 2 months later when my daughter, Su Ning, boarded the plane to Bogota, Colombia, with her citizenship papers. A taxi took her to Mario's home, where she met Mario's mother and his family, who treated her like a princess. She described the moment Mario saw her. There must have been a rainbow celebrating their reunion. Thank goodness. Su Ning was so unhappy without him. I knew there was no guarantee that this marriage would succeed. There were lots of differences they would have to overcome, but I was proud that both of them found a way to make their dream come true.
I was thrilled when I learned that a month after Suning arrived in Colombia, she and Mario were married by a country priest, surrounded by Mario's family members and neighbors. Oh, I wish I could have been there. When I told Jackie about their marriage, she was very happy too. But if you're expecting this to be the happy ending you were waiting for, you would be disappointed. The day after the wedding, Suning returned home to New York, and for 2 years they lived apart. Though Suning was able to visit Mario once more in Colombia, Mario was unable to visit her. During those 2 years, Suning wrote countless letters with the help of an immigration lawyer to the borough president of Queens, the governor of New York, and local congressmen, asking them to expedite Mario's papers. Neither she nor Mario could understand why it took so long for a new visa to be issued to the spouse of a United States citizen.
After Mario finally arrived in the United States, it took another 5 years until Mario finally reached his goal of American citizenship. Eden I and our two children joined Suning and her parents, and together we witnessed Mario being sworn in.
It was a moment none of us will ever forget. I can only imagine the celebration that night when Suning told Mario about the child she was carrying, who would also be an American citizen.
Just One More, Please is based on a true story. We know there are endless stories like these, many more challenging and heartbreaking. In our discussion, share a story about an immigrant you know. Today, even more so than when Mario's story took place, there are numerous questions about immigration policies and great concerns about their implementation. And here are just a few you can respond to. Take a look at the slides. Well, that's our story. And now we're interested in hearing from you. Feel free to answer any of the questions you saw on the slide, which also appear in the chat. Or if you prefer, just share your immigration story and any thoughts you have on the immigration situation today.
Hi, Alexis. It's Toby.
Hi, Toby.
Thank you so, so much for this story. And having been your colleague, I am so well aware of, you know, what it means to be in America with a kind of a tenuous kinds of visa status. For those of you who know, Alexis and I worked at Drexel in the English Language Center, and our students, if they weren't in class, they weren't able to stay. It was and we had several times when it was not clear whether a student was going to be able to stay, and particularly the women. I was thinking about the women from the Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, who could not come on their own, but had to come with a male escort, a male family member, as usually was. And it was more often than not that the person that they were coming from might have been a younger brother who did not want to be here, and he did not want to be studying, And there were one or two times when the women who really wanted to study, particularly I think they usually were here for graduate degrees, were beholden to their younger brother to stay in the United States. So it was always, and part of our job, Alexis, or all of our jobs at the English Language Center was to make sure that that student that her brother, I'm thinking of one particular student, her brother like kept up his studies and came to class, and basically he just had to come to class. So that's something I was thinking of, but. So yeah, so at every turn, right, there's always these obstacles, and particularly now, of course, we know that that's true. But I wanted to tell people about two things that are happening here in Philadelphia. I live in Mount Airy, in West Mount Airy in Philadelphia, and there are two friends of mine who saw a need, and one of the needs was of young adults who are young refugee immigrant, either refugees really, who are here alone. You know, they came on their own. I mean, that's what sort. You know, they came in the, you know, across rivers and across deserts, and they literally formed this program called Welcoming Homes, and it's like a homestay, not a homestay. It's like a homestay kind of program where families will take in a young adult until they graduate from high school. And I'm going to put the link in the. I don't know if we can read the chats, but I'll put the link in the chat because that's what people are doing now. They're really coming together to do that. And the other, I will just say, in Mount Airy, in Germantown, there was a chef of a wonderful, beloved restaurant. And if you just Google that, chef in restaurant deported or detained, you'll see about 4 different situations like that here in Philadelphia and New Jersey. Because of the community support, he's been released from detention, but his status is still unclear and still not determined. What really sold it was when he went to his court case on Zoom. They do it on Zoom. 100 members from the community went on Zoom to show support, and that very thing was what helped the judge decide to release him from detention. So this idea of support from the community is just as important now as it was however many years, 40 years ago, when this story took place. So I want to say to all of us that it's still as important, whether you do it personally as the story or as part of a community. It's really important. So I'll put that in the chat, so if you want to.
Great. Thank you, Toby. That's very, very helpful. Okay. Thank you. Somebody else would like to share some thoughts?
This is this is Barbara Hookie. I don't know if somebody else was starting to speak. No. First of all, I just have to say kudos to all of you. What a great story, and so well acted and presented. It's a movie. I was just enthralled. It was just quite a wonderful presentation. And I'm a teacher too, with Alexis and Toby, and I see other people here, old friends, and on Zoom, and the company here, the theater troupe that you've put together. That's a community too. And I just want to pick up on Toby's theme of community, because this story is about community and community support. And that is the critical point where we are right now, is just we have to continue to show community support. And I think it's just so inspiring to think about, to hear the stories of the ICE agents in the various cities and how the people have rallied in support of the immigrant communities. And so I've been working with HIAS PA, which is a local immigrant support network. It's many people might know it. It's the HIAS is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. It was founded more than 100 years ago, and now it helps everybody, helps any. It runs a refugee program, and I'm working with a Congolese guy now who's trying to get his citizenship and doing citizenship tutoring. And they've just, with this administration, they've just enacted a new citizenship test, more questions, and it's just another barrier. But people are determined, and so it's a long road. But the determination and the will, and the will to be a citizen is an extraordinary thing that I've witnessed many times. And I also just want to one immigrant story I'd like to highlight. And this was something, even though I worked for many years with international students, it was when I was teaching a class in the communication program to a group of enrolled students at Drexel. And I had one student, we were talking about I was teaching a course in intercultural communication. And this was, I had a student from California and of an Asian background. And we were talking about the immigration and cross-cultural communication and immigrant communities. And he came up to me and in my office hours and told me that he had been brought here as a child when he was 3 or 4 years old. And so he fell into the category of the dreamers, that is, children who came here brought by their parents. And there still is this huge category of, and I had no idea because he's a Californian, you know, his English, he grew up, he sounded like he was from Los Angeles, which he was. And but he's in this category of the dreamers where that he's not able to get citizenship because of Congress not passing um, any kind of pathway to citizenship for people who are now maybe in their 20s. And so they're essentially in a shadow economy. He was never able to get a co-op job because he didn't have actually working papers. He didn't have social security number. So there's so much that needs to be fixed in our on immigration legislation. And Senator Fetterman is actually on the Department of Homeland Security, and I write him all the time about watching over, what is he doing to control ICE and to work on legislation. And it seems hopeless, but it's never hopeless to raise your voice. So anyway, I've talked for a long time, but thank you, Alexis. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you for sharing.
Wonderful troop. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for sharing what you did. Yeah. So somebody else?
Well, I need to say hello to Barbara. Hey there, miss you. Um, I was talking to a friend in Charlotte, North Carolina. I think we've all seen on the news the last 2 days the ICE raids in Charlotte and the legal American citizen that had his car windows bashed out, and uh, and then they'd say, "Oh yeah, okay, there's your papers." I mean, and he had to drive off, and that you think ICE is going to repair that car for him and fix that window? It's like, nope. And I was talking to my friend. I said, because I wasn't sure exactly, is he downtown or the suburbs or what have you? And he said he's in the burbs, but he said it's everywhere. He said the restaurants are closing before dark, and it's just a really scary time. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody else want to comment?
I'll just say something. I watched a walking tour of Vienna from the Museum of Jewish Heritage this past week, and they just kept talking about all the anti-Semitism and how Jews were constantly sent out of the country. But one point they made, Jews being people not liked, and we're talking about immigrants now as basically being people that certain Americans are not liking, was the brain drain taken from Vienna because all these people had to flee. You know, I never really looked at it that way. It wasn't even referencing the Holocaust. It was one of the anti-Semitic pogroms before the Holocaust even. The country was left without certain professions even being filled because, you know, Jews were holding those positions. And we're losing now scientists and academics and researchers and people who could really give so much to the American society, and their fears of being taken off the street, taken out of their homes. And those, you're talking about the college students at Drexel over those years, those students now are giving second thought to even coming to America. And we know college enrollments are down. It was articles in the paper about Drexel. My son works at Muhlenberg, enrollments down there. But a lot of these schools like Drexel rely on the foreign students as well for research, you know, higher education, graduate degrees, and so forth. So it really has many ramifications. Some of them you don't think of right off the top. But I was just stunned when they were referencing back to the early 1900s about a brain drain of professions in Vienna, and we're experiencing some of that now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Amy. How true.
My son, who is on this Zoom, and I thanked him for joining us. So
thank you, Ira. Yeah, thank you very much for being with us.
Great job, everybody. Oh, I just wanted to say a short thing. Hello, everybody. I'm new to the Readers Theater, and the reason that I wanted to be involved was because I have felt rather helpless to do anything about this very important subject matter, and seeing so many images, especially started in California, at least the images that we were getting inundated with, because we needed to see what was happening, and it's happening all over the country. So my name's Carol, and I'm here to, I believe that I've just been motivated this whole year, like what can I do? And so I've been doing it in various ways as an artist, just to use my voice, to use my heart and my mind, and not to put my head, well, I'm not the type to put my head in the sand, but like something like this, that we're at least making it visible, and hopefully just all the subject matters that the Readers Theater is bringing to light. I think they're all very important subjects, and so I'm glad to be a part of it, and that I am a believer that collectively we can make a difference. So,
and we're thrilled that you've joined us. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, anybody else? Go ahead.
I just want to give, there are a lot of resources now for all of us who feeling kind of like, wait, what can I do? What can I do? And I'll just, for those of people who live in Philadelphia, I know we live all over. There are two organizations, and I'll put them in the chat, but one is called New Sanctuary Movement, and the other is called Juntos. And both of those organizations train people to do Ice Watch if you really want to be out on the streets. That's the people that will like signal if they see people, ICE agents. I'm assuming people here would approve of that, to go and document. It's not, you're not stopping anything. You're not there to get, you're not there to get in the way of the what's going on, but you're there to document, so that we, you know, people maybe who are grabbed, we know who they are. But and they also have vigils downtown in Center City every week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So there are people doing collective things, as we're talking about. Community is really important for all of us to know that there are communities. So and that's, I just wanted to give that, is that there are a lot of resources for us to not be alone. We sometimes we feel alone in doing this, but there are a lot of people really reaching out and doing things, doing really concrete things. As Barbara said, the highest is one of those organizations. So I will just I'll put that in the chat so you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Toby. So Sabrina, I think you wanted to join us.
Oh, sure. So is this the first? So first, congratulations! It's such a nice performance, and particularly like the AI generated animations. I think that's so fun. Is this the first time that you use AI?
Yes. For those of you who are not familiar with our group, our production person is in China. And yes, it's the first time that Yvonne experimented with this. Yes. So we hope that it helped enhance the performances, and I think it was she's done a wonderful job. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to share something because I'm from China and I came here a long time ago and now I have my green card. So I'm really not familiar, although I'm an immigrant, I'm not really familiar with this. So I think this is really kind of like um inspiring so that I can be introduced to different type of immigration because I'm used to like being the student and have the social security number, all those things. So I never know like what other immigrants could look like, right? So many of those people or like undocumented people, they don't really have resources like I do, right? So although I'm immigrant, I'm kind of like privileged one. So I really like this performance because I'm introduced to other people from, the types of people who are like not as lucky.
Yeah. Well, we're very lucky that you're here. So just out of curiosity, so you have a green card. What is the future for you and your family?
So we don't know yet because China doesn't allow dual citizenship. So we haven't really decided whether we'll have the US citizenship or not. Because my husband and our family are in China, so we'll see how it goes. But it really took us a very long time, although we are like highly educated, it still took us like a decade to get our green card. Because for people from China and India, even though even you have a PhD, for instance, you are still in a very, very long line to get your green card. So and also, I want to share one thing. So, at one point, I was very afraid that I wouldn't have visa status because I think that was about 2017 or 2016. So, the F1 OPT got some trouble at that time, because I was having that visa. So I thought, oh, what happened? But I was really grateful to my postdoc advisor at that time that he promoted me to a different level to a different position so that I can apply to H1B. And then in the end, everything is resolved. So, it wasn't very smooth process, but yeah, but I'm still here.
And we're very grateful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Yeah, another different experience. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you all very much for coming. And we'll take the suggestions that were handed to us, and so that we don't feel so alone, perhaps we will pursue some of these things. And I just want to thank you very much for being here and hearing our story.
Yeah, great job, you guys. Great job. Wonderful.
Thank you. I see, Ira. Thank you. Okay. Well, have a good night and enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
you. Good
Good job,
night.
everybody.
Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Good
That's all right.
program. Thank you.
Thank you.